faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to jump dozens of cars in a single bound. Coming up next, it's the superstars of the NTRA. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the superstars of the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Nationals Monster Truck Challenge. Welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. You're looking at the Ohio Village just outside Columbus. And from the pre-Civil War era, we fast forward across town to the Ohio State Fairgrounds, where chrome, candy apple, and plenty of horsepower are the order of the day at the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals. And with all the spit and polish, hi everybody, I'm Gary Lee. You know, monster truck racing is becoming a high-tech motorsport. There are racing teams now using computer technology. But there are other teams, as we say, still doing it the old-fashioned way. And here with more on that is Army Armstrong.
Well, Gary, case in point would be the 1989 Equalizer. That was the first year a national champion monster truck was crowned. The Equalizer took the win back to the volunteer state of Tennessee. And those guys basically have a philosophy is if it's not broke, don't fix it, and it seems to work for them. We're going to tell you some of the things they did a little bit different. First of all, they got a center of gravity down closer to the ground. Seemed to work a whole lot better for them. Put the engine behind the driver, not in front of him, to balance the vehicle out. And then they go to some off-road technology out of California. The Custer shock absorbers were brought into the monster truck picture. So while other guys were out there trying to figure it out on their computer, old boys out of Tennessee, they just sharpened their pencils and went to the pay window.
Well, Army, speaking of sharpening pencils, check out the handiwork of the pinstriping paintbrush. Well, from all the spit and polish, we're headed over to the competition area for monster truck racing. Round one action is coming up next. Army, as you like to say, it's time to put on the war paint. We're in Columbus, Ohio at the Ohio State Fairgrounds, where four trucks present the Penda four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals, a part of the B.F. Goodrich Performance Series. Gary Lee alongside Army Armstrong, and the Army, a good crowd on hand, being bathed in sunshine here this afternoon, as we're going to take a look at the run of the fast qualifier. This is a new Dodge truck, barefoot, driven by Fred Schaefer.
Well, when he came to the line, everybody dropped what they were doing to walk over to watch him. Schaefer had been with Chevrolet for a long time. He's switched over to Dodge, and paying dividends right now as he's quick of the day.
Army, talk about high-tech, computer-designed trucks. We have a pair right there lining up side by side in round one, Barefoot and King Crunch. Here is a look at round one. We also have Snakebite, your fifth fast qualifier, against No Problem. Also, competition will include Taurus taking on the Gravedigger back on the series for the first time in a while. The Equalizer and Keystone Cruncher. Then it's Nightmare against Tropical Thunder out of Florida. And Bigfoot, your second fast qualifier, against Carolina Crusher. And there's a look once again at Fred Schaefer in Barefoot out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois.
Well, he comes to this sport from drag racing. You can tell he was doing what we call dry hops back there. He has a 10,000-pound truck that he's yanking around. He's going up against this kid out of Texas. Anybody that follows the sport knows Scott Stevens could be a player for you in a heartbeat. But Schaefer's the guy today that for some reason everybody's watching. The new Dodge, the new high-tech truck. Wow, does he drill Scott Stevens.
I don't think Scott was asleep at the start. I think there was a problem there with that King Crunch GMC, but boy, it was all Fred Schaefer.
Wow, Scott was, it's almost like he didn't even see the light.
So Fred Schaefer takes the measure of King Crunch, pair of new trucks, but it was an easy win for Fred Schaefer. There's a look at Colt Cobra out of Cobra Creek, Colorado. You think they might be pulling our leg just a bit here in the Snakebite?
No, it's a serious deal. As we also look at who he's going up against, it'll be the No Problem car, or truck, excuse me, of John Moore with the new sponsor of HPX Fasteners. But Colt Cobra is for real. He built this truck to prove that he can build the fastest Ford monster truck in the country.
Well, it doesn't look like a Ford, but indeed it is, with that GTS fiberglass nose on that vehicle. And Colt Cobra in the Snakebite takes the victory over No Problem.
Well, John Moore is experimenting with the new chassis on the far side, and it's real spongy. Notice when he leaves the line, how instead of going left to right, I mean front to back, it does go left to right. It just has completely different handling characteristics than anything we've seen so far. So he's got a little bit of work to do yet.
Little jubilation there as he climbs out of that truck to talk to Army.
Well, call that. The excitement could be short-lived. You got Schaefer in the next round, and he's got Lane.
Don't bother me at all, Army.
Running that good?
We're just holding back for him. We're waiting. We're going to put the Dodge in its place. You know, the Ford Brass Eagle snakebite here is running real good this weekend. We're looking to pull him off the lights, and we're going to carry it through all the way through the end.
A brash Colt Cobra.
No, I tell you what, if you don't believe in yourself, you don't belong in a race car. I think, he just, if he can back it up, he's going to be a hero.
This should be an interesting matchup. Eldon Depew in Taurus. He drives for his uncle, Jack Willman Sr., and there is a look at the Grave Digger, a 1950 Chevrolet panel truck. Haven't seen Dennis Anderson for a while. He is a crowd favorite.
Out of Kill Devil Hill, North Carolina, when the two red lights come on the Grave Digger, that means he's 100%. You're going to see two Sky pilots right now. Both of these guys love to fly their monster trucks, and the people in Ohio are going to get to see the
What's going to happen in the second half of the run? It is, hang on, Dennis Anderson. He almost high-tailed that thing. Dennis Anderson, both those guys had trouble getting stopped. What a great ride, but Dennis Anderson, the Grave Digger, takes the victory.
Who is it? Who they say?
Well, we'll show you again. I said it was Dennis Anderson. It was indeed a photo finish. Jack Willman, the uncle of the driver of Taurus, was wondering who actually won it, but right here you'll see in a photo finish, Dennis Anderson by perhaps a wheel. Dennis Anderson out of the Grave Digger to talk to Army.
Dennis, is monster truck racing kind of like riding a bicycle? Once you learn how to do it, you develop a style, and that wins for you?
Yeah, it really is. It's a little different when you jump in a new truck with a new style suspension on it, and this does have a new style suspension, which I had another truck before, but I'm still getting the feel of this truck, but feels pretty good to me right now. It's kind of, it wants to gyro and roll over to the side, but we'll get that figured out.
The other drivers were walking back in the pit area a minute ago, and boy, they were just shaking their head, and they said, man, the kid has still got it.
Yeah, I tell you, it makes me feel good because I get down there on the other end, and it feels pretty wild. I mean, I feel fortunate that I can pull out of what I'm doing and get her landing on all fours, because I'd hate to wipe her out here today.
Tell you what now, can you expect anything else to happen when you're talking to the Grave Digger? You are wild. Good luck to you.
All right, thanks.
Army, I don't know how he ever got that truck under control, because he was well out of control down there in the shut-down area. We look there at the Keystone Cruncher and Dan Patrick, who has been around this sport for a lot of years as really a constructor, building some of these high-tech trucks. And he goes up against the Equalizer with David Morris, and David and his crew still using the same setup as they used when they first came into sport back in 1989.
This is a truck that I opened the show with. I was telling you about these old boys out of Tennessee. In 1989, they had it figured out with a pencil. Everybody else has got computers, and they're winding up basically where these guys started off at. See what I mean?
Going to be, David Morris by a large margin over Dan Patrick. So Morris in the Equalizer will advance as he knocks out the Keystone Cruncher.
Like we say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Look how smooth this truck is. Like an old pair of loafers. He just kind of gets out there and drives it. But when you go to the bank on Monday morning with that first place check, that's all they care about.
Yeah, the bank cashier does not ask if it's an old style truck or a new high-tech truck either.
Amen.